Hello everyone, today we're learning about Kamal Daf Ayin. So we're going to start from Samech Tesam and base at the bottom, 3 lines up. So we had Rabbi Yochanan said earlier that Rav Doisa and Tznuim say the same. That Tznuim said that a person, that Tznuim used to be poida neter avai, that people would steal the grapes, and they would say anything that someone steals, it should be nifda on the money, and therefore they shouldn't eat neter avai. And Rav Doisa said a similar din about anim who by mistakes take stuff that not really belong to them, that they're really not allowed to collect. That Rav Doisa says that at the end of the day, you'd say anim who took stuff without permission, they should it should be hefka. So Rav Yochanan said that the same din. Omar Ravina says Ravina, he loved Omar Rabbi Yochanan. If not, the Rabbi Yochanan said Tznuim Rav Doisa Omar Devarechot, it's the same din. Hava mina, I would say, man tanet Tznuim, I would say, who is the price of Tznuim Rav Doisi? It is Rav Doisi. It's not that it's the same din, but it's two not connected things, meaning one is Tznuim and one is Rav Doisi. No, I would say that is Rav Doisa. Keiche deloi tikshis tamish and Rabbi Yochanan. That, because we asked, Rabbi Yochanan said that you can't be Magdish Dovo Sheinu B'Rishusoi, and we asked the Kasha from Tznuim that we could see that you could be Poida Dovo Sheinu B'Rishusoi. So I'd say, you know who Tznuim is? It's Rav Doisa. Rabbi Yochanan, Kistam Yechido, Lo Yomar, Rabbi Yochanan never said we paskin like a Yechido Stam. We only paskin like a Stam Mishnah. But if we know it's Rav Doisa, so it's not anymore Stam, so we don't have any Kasha. But since Rabbi Yochanan said it is the same din, and that means it's two different shittas, but the same din. So we could see that Tznuim is not Rav Doisa, so therefore you can't say this to hurts. So the Gemara, Daf Ayin Amud Aleph, top line. Amri Narador. In Narador, it's a place in Bovel. They used to say, Loi kasvinin urchasa. Urchasa is a power of attorney, meaning we're going to go with Rashi's Mahalech over here in the Sugya. Reuven gave Shimon a pikodon, a watch, and now he wants to send Levi to deal with Shimon to collect the watch. He wants that Levi is going to be like his shliach or his person who's going to go to Shimon and claim the watch back. So lo yikasvin urchas metalteli. You can't do that on metaltelim. So said the Gemara, Omar Rav Ashi Rameima. Said Rav Ashi to Rameima, my time, what's the reason? Omar Lemi Shun Rabbi Yochanan, because Rabbi Yochanan we just learned yesterday, to Omar Rabbi Yochanan, Gezev, Elohim Siyasha Bailim, someone stole something, and the owners never gave up on the item. Shnei Menu Cholim Lakdish, if both can't make a hekdish, why not? Velefisheni Shaloi the Ganef, because it's not his. The owner didn't give up. Velefisheni B'Shusa, and the owner, because it's not in his possession. So also here, since Reuven gave this watch to Shimon, it's not in his possession anymore. He can't give it over to Levi, because the way he makes Levi, it's not just a shliach. He gives it over to be koine. The Levi is koine the watch now, and then Levi could do the din. But because it's not in his rishus, he can't be makne to Levi, so he can't do it. Iked Amri. Some people say Amri Narador differently. Like asvina uchosam etaltelim dekafri. If Reuven gave a pikodon to Shimon, and then Shimon was koif, he said, I don't know what you're talking about, you never gave me any watch, then you can't give it over the power to Levi to claim it. Time the kafre, the whole reason is because Shimon was koif and said, I don't owe it. The michzik shikra looks like a lie. Shimon said it's not yours at all, I don't know what you're talking about. So why is Reuven giving to Levi? Why is he giving him over? Avaloi kafre, but if Shimon wasn't koi for it, he didn't disagree, he just, no one claimed it back, Kasvin, and then Reuven could write to Levi the power to claim it. Varmin Naradori said, Urchasa, when you write this Urchasa, the loy kosibe, that doesn't say in it, zil, go, dun, and go to Bezdin or negotiate, v'zochi, and win, v'apikla nafshoch, and take it for yourself. I mean, the Reuven gives Levi, not only he sends him a shliach, he tells, go and it's going to be yours once you take it out of Shimon. Less be mashosha, has nothing in it. My timer. What's the reason? Because if he doesn't write that and he only sends Levi as a shliach, mishum da'amalei, Ahaich, Shimon will tell Levi, you have nothing to do with me. I don't have nothing to do with this. Why are you getting involved, Levi? But if he gives over to Levi's, now it's Levi's, then Levi can come to Shimon and say, it's mine now, I want to watch back. And he can't say it's nothing to do with you, because it says, if Reuven was makne to Levi a half, or third, or a quarter, Migu, since the Mishtoi Dina Palga, since he's involved in half, a quarter, or third, so he could tell Shimon, I want my half. So, and Shimon can't say you have nothing to do with the story. Therefore, Mishtoi Dina, he could also discuss Akula. He could say, okay, I'm here also for Reuven, and I want everything, the whole watch back. Oma Meima, Itofa. So now we're going to go, there's two pshatim in Rashi. We're going to go with the first pshat of Rashi. Itofas, if the shliach Levi, that we said he can't go to Reuven, to Shimon, only if he was given over the chayfet, but if it's only a shliach, he can't. But if he grabbed it from Shimon, he tofas from Shimon, we don't take away. We say, oh, at the end of the day, he sent him as a shliach, so now he's doing this shlichus, and therefore we keep it by Levi, who could give it back to Reuven. Ravashi Oma Kevin the Kasvele, since he writes to him, called him is Anim Mindina Kabilusolai, since Reuven writes to Levi, anything that happens in this court case when you go claim this watch back, I accept on me, Shliach Shavi, he makes him a shliach. And therefore it's only a shliach, and if it's the pshat that we learned, so if Levi grabbed off Shimon, we say, no, you're not involved, you can't just grab it, it's not labal dvaron didi, give it back to Shimon. And some people say that when you write, when you send Levi shutva shavi, he gives it to him as a shutva, so Levi is a shutva together with Reuven in this. Lemay nafkamina, what the nafkamina? Lemitvas palga, that he's allowed to be toifus half. Meaning that since he made Levi a shutuf in it, so if Levi doesn't want to, takes it from Shimon and then he doesn't want to give it back to Reuven and he wants to keep it, he could keep half because he's a shutuf. The ilchas and halacha is shliach shavir, that he's a shliach and therefore he can't grab from. Therefore he's a shliach. And he's not shutuf, and therefore Levi can't keep any of this watch by himself, by him, and he has to give it back to Reuven. Very good. We got to the Mishnah of Ayin Amud. Said the Mishnah, Gonav al Pishnaim. Someone stole, and there was two Eidim that he stole. V'tovach u'mocha al Piem, and he has the same Eidim who said he stole. They're also being made that he slaughtered it or sold it. Oy al Pishnaim acherim. Or we had two Kitei Eidim, two parties. One said he stole, and the other party said he sold it or slaughtered it. The din is, Mishalem Tashlum Abba V'chamisha, the ganav has to pay 4 and 5. Gonav u'mocha b'Shabbos is someone who stole, and then he sold it on Shabbos. So we're going to see his chayav dalet v'hei, but especially in the Mishnah it says u'mocha, because if he was tovach on Shabbos, tvicha is chayav misa, because you moitzi neshama. And therefore, it's commonly the rabbinah is chayav misa for killing the animal, and therefore he'll be potter from dalet v'hei. Gonav u'mocha l'avodah zarah, so there's no chiyuv misa. Or gonav v'tovach b'yom kippurim, even tovach, but because in Yom Kippur on doing a issa, there's no misa, it's only chorus, so you don't say chorus on commonly the rabbinah. You don't say on chorus commonly the rabbinah. So gonav v'tovach b'yom kippurim, gonav mishalovi v'tovach u'mocha. So now he's one of the Yerushim, so maybe he should be potter. We're going to see his chayav. Gonav v'tovach, someone stole and then slaughtered it, and then v'achakach hikdish, and then he gave it to Beis Hamikdash. Mishalem tashlum abba v'chamisha. All these cases he needs to pay dalet v'hei. Gonav v'tovach le'ufura, someone who stole and then he slaughtered it he needed it for medicine. Oy laklovim, or to feed it to the dogs. Or another case, a someone who stole and then he shechted it, but it wasn't kosher. It comes out to treifa. That's also ba'ano. The din is mishalem tashlum me'arba v'chamisha. In all these cases, you pay dalet v'hei. Rab Shimon poite b'shnei elu. Rab Shimon says in the last two cases of someone who comes out there was a treifa or chulim ba'azara, the din is that you potter. And the reason is because Rashi explains that Rab Shimon holds that you need a shchita that's roy to eat. And since chulim ba'azara and treifa you're not allowed to eat, you're not chayav dalet v'hei. Masha'inkin, if you did it for medicine or for your dogs, even though you're not planning to eat from it, but you could technically eat it. So therefore, you chalev dalet vei. That's why he agrees in the other cases. Says the Gemara, Leimu masisni like Rabbi Akiva, Lechora, Mishnah is not like Rabbi Akiva, Dear Rabbi Akiva, Oma Dova v'lo chetzi Dova. He said it said in the pasuk al Pishnaim Edim Yokim Dova. So Dova means something, v'lo chetzi Dova, not half a thing. And we're going to see how it's connected to the Mishnah. The Tanya we learned in the Brisa, Omar Rabbi Yosi. Rabbi Yosi said, Kesholach Abba Chalaftam. It's Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri lilmod Torah. When Abba Chalafta went to Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri to learn Torah, and some people say the opposite. Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri to Abba Chalafta. Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri went to Abba Chalafta. Omar lo, he told him, Arei she'ochlo shona rishona. So let's just give an introduction. There is a din of chazaka. It means Reuven comes to Shimon, and he tells him, what are you doing in my field? Shimon says, what do you mean? I bought it off you. So Shimon says, I bought it off you, Reuven. So Reuven says, where's your star, your proof? Shimon says, I lost my star, but I've been here so many years, 3 years, that it's normal for me to lose a star, and my raya is I've been here for 3 years. So if he could bring Aiden that he was in the field for 3 years and used the field, and no one said, hey, what are you doing over here? It's called a chazaka, and that's instead of a star. So here we're discussing if someone has a raya Adim that he was in the field for 3 years, but he doesn't have one group of Adim, two Adim, Levi and Yehuda. He has 3 Kiti Adim. So let's see. Amaloi, what the din? So he has Adim for the first year, Bifnei Shnaim, and 1 cut of Adim. Shniya, the second year, Bifnei Shnaim, 2 different Adim. Shlishis, and the third year, Bifnei Shnaim, the third group of Adim. Now, is it considered a chazaka or not? Amaloi is a chazaka, yeah, even though there are 3 groups of Adim, it's good. Amaloi afani oimiken. I agree with you. Elo, but Rabbi Akiva choylek badov. Rabbi Akiva argues he doesn't agree with what we say. Sha'oya Rabbi Akiva used to say, Dovar, it said in the Apostle, Dovar v'loi chetzi Dovar, that you can't have Eidim being made on half a Eidus. So since 1 year is not full Eidus, you need 3 years. So when you can't connect 3 Kiti Eidim and say, now we have a Dovar. No, because each one's made on chetzi Dovar, so they're not called the Eidus. So in the Mishnah, also, that if someone said this guy slaughtered or sold the animal, it's no edus because I'm allowed to sell and slaughter my animal. The whole edus is together with the other edus that he stole it first. So it's chetzi dava. So now Mishnah they said that he could have 2 kitei edim, 1 for the gneva and 1 for the tvicha or mechira. It's not like Rabbi Akiva. Omar Abai, no. Afilu Temer Rabbi Akiva, he could fit in our Mishnah like Rabbi Akiva. Mila moide Rabbi Akiva, doesn't Rabbi Akiva agree b'shnaim if we have 2 Eidim saying Omrim Kiddush, that a man was Mekadesh, Vishnaim Omrim Baal, and then another 2 Eidim came and say that he had relations. So we have here the Afal Gav the Eidi Bia, even though that the Eidim, the second Eidim of Bia, of the relations, Tzrichi Lady Kiddushin, because if a man only has relations with a woman, it could be Stama Bias Nus. But now that we know the first Eidim that say he was Mekadesh, so now we know that was Nisuin by this Bia. So Kevin the Eidei Kiddushin lo yitzricha le'Eidei Bia, since the Eidei Kiddushin by themselves don't need Eidei Bia, because Eidei Kiddushin by themselves already chaloises happen that she's asura l'kol adam because she's a rusa. So therefore, now that the first Eidus is chal of Kiddushin, so the second Eidim of Bia, it's already built on a first Eidus and it's good enough. So, and Dovar Korina Bey, it's considered Dovar, it's not Chetzi Dovar. Ochinami, also by us, Afagav the Eidei Tzvicha, Tzurchel Eidei Gneva, the Eidim of slaughtering by themselves are not worth anything without Gneva, because the person's allowed to slaughter his own animal. But Kaven the Edig Neva Tvicha, but since the Edig Neva by themselves have value, because even if only they're made, they're already Mechayev Kefel, Keren and Kefel, so the Edig Neva don't need the Edig Tvicha. So then once we have Edig Neva, now Edig Tvicha come, Dova Korina Bay, it's considered a full thing and it's not considered half a Edus, and we accept such a type of Edus, and even Rabbi Akiva will agree. Masha'in Kain. Masha'in Kain, so the difference is by the Chazaka. One second, let's continue, sorry, mistake. Rabbanon who argue in Rabbi Akiva, Hai, Dova v'lo chetzi Dova lemuti mai. They all say it says in the Pasuk Dova, Al Pishnai Eidin Yokum Dova. So what do they learn with Dova? The Lechera, it's mashma, you need a full Eidus. Do they not agree with Rabbi Akiva? We know they don't, but what's pshat? What are they coming to exclude? So the Gemara, Limuti echad oimer echad begabo ve'echad oimer echad bekreisa. So a girl, when she has two saharas, she becomes a gdoila. So the Gemara says, if one aid comes and says that we saw one sahara, one hair in her back, and another aid comes and says that we saw on her stomach, and so in such a case, Chachamim will be moida that it's chetzi dova, because each one's made only on one hair, and the aidus is two hairs. So that's a case that will be moida on dova v'loy chetzi dova. Frag the Gemara kasha, ay chetzi dova v'chetzi eidusu. Yeah, it's chetzi dova, but it's also chetzi eidus. You only have one aid on one hair. So even if the Torah wouldn't tell you that chetzi dova is a problem, you'd know that it's a problem because you don't have two eidim on two hairs. So for sure that's not good eidus. Why do we need what's the chiddush in dova v'loy chetzi dova? We know that because it's not full eidus. It's only one aid on each hair. You need two eidim. Elo, says the Gemara, limuti shnaim oimim, two eidim say echad begaba on a back. V'shnaim oimim, another two eidim saying echad bekreis on a stomach. Ani amri ktano hi, v'ani amri ktano hi. Each cat of eidim are saying she's a ktano, because one hair is a ktano. So you don't put them together and say, she has one on the front, one on the back, and therefore she's a gdoila. No, we consider her still a ktano. Masha'in kein. Tosis explains by the case where the Eidim of Shana Rishona by Chazaka, Shana Shnia, Shana Shlishi is 3 Kiti Eidim. Each cat of Eidim, each group of Eidim saw the full amount they could see. And if they were there only the first year, that's what they were there. And they saw all what you could see in 1 year, that the guys in the field. In the second year, they were in Australia, they didn't see. So they were not lacking in the Eidus of what they saw. But by the Ktana, they didn't see the second hair. If they're seeing already, they should see both hairs. If they didn't see the second hair, they're just being made. That's the ktana, and therefore we won't accept the eidus. Afilu lechachom, and we say she's the ktana and she's not a gdoila. Masha'en ken bechazaka, it does work. It says in the Mishnah, Gonav u'mocha b'Shabbos, someone who stole and he sold the item on Shabbos, he has to pay dalet v'hei. Frag the Gemara v'Atanya in the Brayse, it says potter, the potter on dalet v'hei. Amaromi Barchoma Kitanya Hide Potter. That the Brisa that says that your Potter, it's talking about Ba'oimeloi, that the buyer from the Ganev told him on Shabbos, Akoitz lechoteina mitinosi. I want to pay you for this cow or this sheep. So the payment is going to be a fig. Go to my fig tree, take off a fig, and in that. That's going to be the payment for the cow. And when you pull off the fig, I'll be koine the cow, and I'll be koine your gneva. So therefore, when the Ganev took off the fig on Shabbos, he's oiva esa deraisa. And therefore, it's komne dirabne. When you have a chiyuv misa and a chiyuv moment, you potter from the chiyuv moment, so you'll be potter from the chiyuv moment on the dalet vehei. Masha'en in the Mishnah, it's talking about no mechira, not such a complicated case where he's mechal Shabbos while he does a mechira. Amri, frektig mar shaila, v'keven de ketova leikamon bedina. Since if in such a case, when Reuven sells Shimon an item on Shabbos and the payment is by cutting off a fig off the tree, and Shimon's going to say, I want my item, I paid him a fig, I want my item, they'll tell him, we won't tell the guy who sold the item, go pay. Why? The mischai ben afshayu, because when he collected the fig, when he took off the fig, he was over esa misa and his chayv misa, and therefore he's potter from the mominus of the mechira. So says the Gemara, mechira la mechira. So why did the Brisa say you're potter because of komle dirabmene? It's b'chlal no mechira, because Bezdin can't force him to give over the cow or the sheep. It's not b'chlal mechira. So obviously you know chayv dalet vehei. It's no mechira b'chlal. Hello, Mar Papa. It says our Papa nu teretz. But Oimer lo, it's talking about where he said, "Zreikn gnevosach, throw your gneva, your sheep or your cow, lechatzer into my chotza, v'tikni lignevosach, and I should be koina your gneva, and therefore when he comes into the yenem's chotza, he's koiner it, and also in that second he's over esa Shabbos of itzam rishus l'rishus. So therefore there's komle d'rabbanei. And he is koine b'kinyan chotza and koine d'rabbanei, and therefore you potter from dalet vehei because you did the Issa Shabbos. Says the Gemara, Kiman Rabbi Akiva, is this going on like Rabbi Akiva? The Oma Kluta Kimishu Unchodami. Because there's a machloikes, when are you over Issa Shabbos? If I throw something from Rishus HaYochid to from Rishus HaRabim to Rishus HaYochid, and it goes into the air of Rishus HaYochid, does already, or you chayiv already for Issa Shabbos, or you only chayiv for Issa Shabbos when it lands? So Rabbi Akiva holds, once it comes into the air, Kluta Kimishu Unchodomi, when it's in the air, it's already like it's on the ground, and therefore, straight when he goes over into the air, he's koine in kinen chotza, because kinen chotza is koine also in the air, and also he's chayav b'Shabbos, it's komle d'rabbanei. The ikar rabbanon, if we hold like rabbanon, kevan demati lechotza basic kono. Since it comes into the air of the chotza, you're already koine, because legabe kinyan, everyone's masking kluta kimishun chodomi. But leinian Shabbos lo michayav ad demati la'ara. When is he chayav Issa Shabbos? Only when it lands, and therefore it's not komle d'rabbanei. Komle d'rabbanei is only in the same second that you did the Issa Shabbos, you also did the Issa Achiv moments, and then you potter. Be here, it's a different time. There's a few seconds difference. So the Gemara teretz, no, really could be like Rabbanon as well. But he said, I don't want your gneva to be nikna until it lands, and therefore you're not koina only when it lands, and Issa Shabbos is also only when it lands lifi Rabbanon, and therefore it's in the same moment, and therefore you're koina. Rava says a new thing. We had the kash on Romi Bar Choma, loilom Romi Bar Choma. Really like Romi Bar Choma, that he said it somehow where he collected the fig, and that's the payment, and that's Koran D'Rabbani. We had a shaila on that if that's the payment, since if you go to Bezdin, you can't force him to give the sold item because of Koran D'Rabbani, so it's B'chlal no Mechira, why should he be chayav dalet vehei? He says no. Esnan, if someone pays for forbidden relations with an animal, we said early on, we know it's a possible in the Torah that it's also for the Mizbeach. So Esnan also Torah, the Torah says you're not allowed to bring a payment for relations is also. And doesn't say in the Torah what type of esnan, did he do it with a pnuya or did he do it with your mother? Even someone who paid his mother to have a relationship with her, with a cow, that cow is also for the mizbeach. And now if someone has relations with his mother, he is chayiv misa. So there's Koran D'Rabbani. If this mother had a relation with her son, and she comes to Bezdin and says, oh, he's not paying me the sheep he promised me. Esnan, do we force him to pay? We won't tell him to pay because it's Koran D'Rabbani, it's not Mechuyev Momen. But we still say this Esnan is also. Even though if she claims in Bezdin, we don't say to the son, go pay your mother the sheep you promised. But still, if he did give her the sheep, it's still considered Esnan, and you're not allowed to bring her as a korban. Why is that? All of her is not mechuyev. Elomai, we could see, because he gave it to her as a Esnan, it's a Esnan. Ochenami, also by us, afal gavdin tashlumim, even though that for paying as a sale, itova bedina, come on. If this buyer comes to Bezdin and say, I want to have this sheep or this cow that I paid with the fig that he took off on Shabbos, we won't tell him to pay because of Komre de Rabbane, afilu ochi, even so, Kevan de Komaknile, Behochi, Ave Mechira. The Mechira is a good Mechira, but he could hold it by himself and say, oh, Komre de Rabbane, I'm not paying. But if he gives the cow over or the sheep over, it is considered a Mechira. And since it's considered a Mechira, he should be Chayav Dalet Vehei. The reason why not Chayav Dalet Vehei is only because we say Komle B'di Rabba Minei. Everyone should have a great night.